Right, I've just got back from the gym and I bumped into a lad that I used to play rugby with. Now, this guy, a bit older than me, mid to late 30s. He's like 6'5", ex-rugby player. So I'm like, hi mate, how's it going? Good weekend, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm knackered. I've just finished a 48-hour fast. I'm like, what? You've just finished a 48-hour fast? You've not eaten for 2 days? He's like, nothing but coffee and water. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, I got to shed a few pounds for holiday, trying to get in shape, losing a bit of this. And I was like, this is not the way you want to be going to lose weight. He was like, yeah, but now I'm eating again. I'm on like 1,500 calories. To be honest, I think he said he didn't finish the full 40 hours. I think he like bailed on the last few hours. And he binged it and he was like, yeah, I feel shit. I can't concentrate. I'm, fidgety at work. I'm hungry. I'm craving. All I can think about is food. I'm like, well, obviously, because you were not eating. All right. So I was trying to explain to him, but I didn't have a whiteboard. I wanted to explain to him his calories and how it's all broken up and how he's just massively fucking himself up. So I don't want you to do the same mistake this guy did. Us rugby players don't seem to be the brightest sometimes. Right. So this circle represents the amount of calories that you burn in a day. Okay. Now, 60 to 70% of this is your basal metabolic rate. This is the amount of calories you will burn, right, throughout the day without even lifting a finger, right? You could be asleep all day, be in a coma all day. Sorry to bring the tone down. But you could be horizontal and you'll burn a set number of calories. Not only that, it's actually 60 to 70% of the calories you are burning throughout the day, all right? BMR, basal metabolic rate. Next, we have exercise calories. Now, obviously, when we're trying to get into the gym routine, we're like, yeah, we just need to exercise more. It's not the answer because exercise is only around 10% to me, 10% of our daily calorie burn. All right, I'll put X. Right, exercise calories. Like I said, 10%, very, very small. All right, we then go on to our food thermogenesis effect. Now, this is around 20%. So we'll put the thermogenic effect of food. Let's try and colour this in a little bit because we all like a coloured pie chart. There you go. All right, now this big chunk here, around 20 to 25% is our NEAT. Now you may or may have not heard about this. This is the amount of calories we burn doing stuff throughout the day, right? Waking up and walking downstairs, burning calories. Fiddling. Walking around, walking the dog, taking the stairs. We burn calories to move, right? Obviously, that's why we try and say be more active. But we're not including the gym calories in this. Now, your BMR, we can't really control. It's based off your gender. It's based off your weight, your height, all that kind of stuff. So we can't really look at controlling it. So them 60 to 70% calories. However, these three categories we can control, okay? Which is great. Now, obviously, exercise, we've only got so many hours in the day, and that's why trying to train more is not the answer. Right? We can train for 40 minutes, 50 minutes to an hour, but after that, it's diminishing returns. If we try and train for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, one, you don't have a social life. Two, you're not going to have a job either because you won't be at work. Three, we're not going to get that much out of it because we're going to be knackered. Our performance is just going to deteriorate as we get more tired. So exercise, all we can do 3 to 5 times per week. Good mix of weights, cardio, that kind of stuff. But we're always going to hit the ceiling, hence why it's only 10% of our daily calorie burn. We then have the food thermogenesis effect. Now, how can we affect this? Well, the main one is having a high protein diet. Every PT and his dog, including myself, always says has a high protein diet. Okay, why? Well, let's get into it. So 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. Now, one of them calories is going to get you to digest the bugger, all right? So we're only actually going to take on 3. That's why we try and say have high protein meals, have high protein diets, because we're actually going to burn more calories trying to digest it. So eating high protein foods is going to do us a favor to increase that daily calorie burn. Moving on to NEAT calories. So NEAT calories, we have the most influence on these. We can be more active in the day, and that 20 to 25% window we can really manipulate and try and burn as many calories as we can in the day. How can we do that? We opt for the stairs instead of the elevator or the escalator. One of my pet peeves is when you get off a long flight, you've just been sat down for 2, 3, 4, 6, wherever you've been. Don't queue up to go on an escalator. You've literally just been sat there. Just take the steps. All right, it's miles quicker. You get to airport security so much faster. So we can be more active. All right. If you're at the office and you get a phone call, take calls on the move. All right. These are some of the gems that I give to some of my clients. All right. Stairs over the lift. Clean the house. You know, little activities like this can burn a shed ton of calories. Like I said, we can increase the amount of calories we're burning into a day. Now, this is where a lot of people mess up. Let's make some space over here, all right? Now, these are examples. Please do not copy them or think that they're yours. Now, for a man, a BMR could be around, I don't know, 1,800 calories, 900 calories. The man in question who I was mentioning before, the rugby player, he was probably around 900 calories of the BMR. So that's how many calories his body will burn before we even take into account any movement calories. For a woman, no, it's going to be a bit less. We'll spell wham. I've just put a wham. That should be a new name. Identify the wham. Wham. Right, so a woman might be around 1,400 calories. Now, like I said, these are BMR calories, so we don't want to really go below this number. If we do that, then we're going to be massively under the calories that we need to get through a day. Now, if we go into a territory where we're massively under the BMR, right, what a lot of people do, they'll start eating 1,200 calories because they're like, oh yeah, I need to really cut my calories down. We get muscle wastage, we'll lose muscle, which in turn slows down our metabolism. It massively messes up our hormones. So for women, irregular periods. For men, it's going to reduce the amount of testosterone we have in our bodies. Both are a nightmare. On top of that, you're going to be feeling knackered, tired, you can't concentrate because your body literally ain't got enough calories to do its own thing, right? Which it's going to take as its main priority. So you're going to be knackered, which is no good. You're going to be craving food as well. So if you've ever been on a diet before where all you can think about is chocolate, fried chicken, whatever it is, then you've probably massively undercut your calories. So then let's take all these into account. Our movement calories, food thermogenesis, non-exercise calories. A man might be 2,500 in total calories that he'd burn in a day, this whole pie chart. A woman might be around 1,800, something like that. Now, all we need is a 250 to 500 calorie deficit. It's nothing too crazy. At a 500 calorie deficit, we can lose a pound of fat a week. Might not sound like a lot, but it's just going to compound. Now, if you can do that without feeling tired, without getting cravings, all that kind of stuff, it's an easy no-brainer deal. And what I probably would do is more be tempted to start at the 250 calorie deficit than the 500 and just keep assessing the weight loss. If I've lost a load of weight, then just stick at 250. Why jump straight into a 500 calorie deficit, right? If maybe we're not losing a lot or we're doing it very slowly, then slightly increase that deficit to 500 calories. So going back to the guy in question, if he's eating 1,500 calories, which is already probably massively under his BMR, of course he's going to feel tired. Of course he's not going to be able to focus at work. He's not really going to be performing that well in the gym either, as well as the bedroom at home, because his testosterone levels are going to be dropping because of the amount of cortisol he's producing. When he could probably be eating 2,000 calories, be in a 500 calorie deficit, and lose a pound of fat a week, right, without really thinking about it that much. Now, working all this out can be a little bit confusing. So I've got a calorie calculator that you can use for free. I've put the link in the description in the video. So click on that, head over, type in your weight, your height, gender, all that, and it'll work out your calories if you want to lose weight, maintain weight, or gain muscle.